everyone, welcome today to a new video. Today we're going to be handling some squash and general things about squash. We'll be handling 3 squash today that we grow mainly. It's going to be the gem, the butternut and the zucchini. We'll discuss pollination, what type of squash grow with and how the fruit forms, and just a general way to find the male and female counterparts of the plant itself. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first squash we're going to handle is the gem squash. With this squash, it will be best to show the differentiation between male and female plants. So let's get into it. So if we look here between the foliage, just a bit of advice, with most squash you'll see that they've got these thorns all over the stems, which is what we use to deter most of the rats and mice and things that do enter our yard. So here you'll find that there's what we should say is a female, which is distinguished by this bulb, which will become the fruit or the squash itself. Whereas with the males, which we actually have a beautiful example here that's flowered, they have this thin stalk. You'll see here's another female. They have this thin stalk, which would shoot them upwards so that the bees can spot them more easily, and then they would be attracted to the nectar of the females below. I also find that most of the males are in the center mass of where the stem would be, whereas the females tend to be on what we call the vines or the runners. As you can see here, there's small little females growing, and you'll only find them on these runners and never at the center mass of the plant, which is here, where most of the males are protruding from, as you can see. So just to touch on what we said earlier, where you'll see that most of the males are at the center of the mass and the females are out on the vines. You'll see here's the female of the butternut squash. So we're going to just show you how to do a manual pollination. Hello Mr. Bee, it's the first time I've seen a bee here actually. And there he goes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take, we've actually got a bundle of males today. Usually we have more females than males at a time, but not one to complain. So if you have a lack of bees in your garden, what you'll do is you'll just tear away the flower, away from the pollen as such. I just throw it back into the garden and let it decompose. Ants or something will come along and just eat it. So I take this, you'll see the pollen on the stem, quite abundant, and I'll just dab it inside of the stigma. You'll then see actually the pollen that's left behind, right over there. And that's how we manually pollinate. So here we are with our zucchini or marrow squash. Now there's a big difference between this squash and most other squash. This squash grows with same as the males with the slender stems and the females with the fruit protruding beforehand, but instead of growing on a vine, the females grow very narrow or very closely in proportion to the males, as you can see here. So the males and females grow on the same stem. So the stem, instead of making runners, actually just elongates as it goes and just keeps producing males and females in proportion to each other. Such as you can see, there's a bunch of females with males and one big female over here.